Hey everyone, Nubkeks here and welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. In today's video we're going to be talking about Thrall, a hero I was actually completely wrong about. I thought he was going to be insanely strong. I thought he was going to be one of the best heroes in the game and that Thrall was going to be back in the meta, and that just simply hasn't been the case with the poor guy. He even got a whole bunch of buffs in the most recent patch. I'm going to be giving you sort of an insight into why I don't think he's that good and showing you kind of what some of his strengths are at the moment, even if the meta doesn't quite fit him in. This is a game from Team League, by the way, but this was actually a pretty decent quality one. You saw me probably raging a bit in the chat there at the start. We had some terrible quality games in Team League this season, really bad. Just all over the place in terms of the matchmaking this season. It's been kind of a mess so far. But hopefully we'll be getting better. Anyway, grind out a few games. Because I said, you know, I actually need to sit down and actually play more HOTS. I was getting a bit burnt out, to be honest with you. And just not too interested. Because the meta's been fairly stable for a while. There hasn't been too much new stuff. But I will be sitting down and I have actually sat down and recorded a whole bunch of videos to bring you more of these post-game commentaries, which are, I know you guys generally find them the best and most helpful things. So I got more of those coming. So stay tuned. There will be more of those up on the channel soon. So yeah, Thrall, you can see I first picked him in this game. This was just, I wanted to first pick him, and it's Team League, and it reached the point where I was kind of just super frustrated. It was super frustrated, and I was like, it's not working if I pick something serious. I'm just getting really frustrated, so I want to pick something I want to do a video on, and want to have fun on, and want to practice, and that will actually make me play better and be better for my team, because I'm not going to be getting mad. So that's what I went for in this case. I think Sky Temple's not too bad for Thrall. Really, the issue with Thrall at the moment, well, number one, I suppose the main issue is, again, this is often the main issue with a lot of heroes, which is opportunity cost, which is why would you pick them over hero X, Y, or Z? So for Thrall, it's kind of the issue of why would you pick him over Malthael, over Dehaka, I mean, even over, you know, Sonya. There's so many other solo lane heroes that, that are so much more effective. So why would you be picking Thrall when you could pick any one of those? The issue with Thrall is that he's pretty terrible in the early game. He doesn't fit all that well into the meta at the moment. And he gets countered by quite a few things. So, I mean, he's very squishy. He's pretty immobile. He's late game centered. He doesn't have a global. He does a lot of damage, but it can be difficult to do. He really has trouble when the enemy team has a lot of crowd control. Or if they're very resistant to burst damage as well, if you can't burst them down if they've got something like that. So, for example, you know, he has a pretty tough time against Uther. He's got a pretty tough time against Nubkeks, against Arthas. He has a bit of a rough time against Malthael. He has a rough time against a lot of the heroes that are very strong right now, which makes it awkward to actually pick him up in a draft. I would suggest you pick him up, you know, if you're going up against a warrior that's actually not too much of a threat to you. So I'd say, you know, Varian is not too bad, because Varian actually doesn't have that much CC, and Varian is also weak in the early game. That's good for Thrall. Muradin, likewise, also, I think Muradin is pretty good for Thrall to go up against, so there'd be two of the tanks I'd be looking at going, okay, I might be able to run Thrall in this sort of situation. I mean, definitely D.Va is actually not too bad either. You can actually deal with D.Va pretty well. But yeah, you need to watch out for a lot of heroes, which makes it pretty awkward to draft him, actually. Just crowd control is your enemy. And then if you're not able to burst down heroes, and if they can lock you down and burst you down, you're going to have a pretty tough time. Guys, I'll go see you in the game. As you can see, I mean, it's kind of like Diamond-y, a couple of Grandmasters here for Team League, so it's not too shabby. I'll see you over there, and we'll see how the game goes. All right, everyone, here we are, and welcome to the game. I actually think this is a pretty good one, because I feel this really illustrates a lot of Thrall's strengths and weaknesses, kind of condensed within one video, which is quite nice, actually, I think. It's quite nice. At level 1, right away, we're going to be grabbing Echo of the Elements. And this really, I feel like levels 1, 4, and 7 talents are kind of the trifecta that you put together. This is my favorite build. I think it's the best. I think this sort of trifecta of talents, once you've got these and once you've got these finished, and around about the mid game, this is where Thrall kind of comes online. Up until that point, he's honestly pretty underwhelming. He's not that good at all. Echo of the Elements is the first part of that trifecta. So this is a quest to kill minions or heroes within 1.5 seconds of hitting them with Chain Lightning. After you've done it 10 times, after you've got 10 kills, you can see it being tracked in the bottom left as well. It will reduce the mana cost of Chain Lightning from 45 to 25. This is actually insanely good. You're going to have crazy mana issues without this talent. Once you finish this part though, your mana issues really, really improve, and you're going to have a lot more mana to play with, so it's very good actually. And then after hitting 20, or after killing 20 enemies, you'll get a second charge of Chain Lightning. So this is a pretty fantastic talent actually. It is a little bit awkward to do. Of course, the Chain Lightning does bounce randomly. Thrall's attack speed's pretty slow. I mean, you don't even get 1 attack per second, right? So either you kill them with the Chain Lightning and a basic attack, or you don't kill them at all. It's kind of clunky. But you will get used to it, and honestly the quest shouldn't take you too long to do, so long as you're somewhat careful about it. But what it does mean is that you will have to give some of your attention as Thrall to actually finishing this quest in the lane, which is kind of a pain. We're up against Dahaka here, which is also a bit of a pain, because Dahaka's, you know, a pretty damn powerful hero and a pretty good laner. We don't really want to take any risks against Dahaka. You can see we're playing it very safe. I'm just trying to focus on finishing my quest, running away from Dahaka where possible. And you can see I'm doing a kind of Ragnaros-esque thing, which is trying to work down work down the minions, get them low, juking around so Dahaka can't hit his tongue. And you can see his interference there actually stopped me from getting all of those minions. We're already up to 7, and 10 is really the first big spike we're looking for. Again, just another thing against Dahaka in the lane. We're playing around our minions here, so he can't actually hit us with his tongue, and we can always back off through the minions, which should be pretty good. So for example, right there, he just hit a minion with his tongue, so he did just fine. And that's basically what we're trying to do, playing it super passive, wave clearing, and just filling out our quests and not taking really any bad trades if we can against the Dahaka. So there you go. You can see I think I killed 1 minion. Well, both of them were super low, but we needed a basic attack to finish both of them off. And then we only actually got 1 quest complete there, which is a bit of a pity. Now, the second part of the trifecta is Frostwolf Pack at level 4. I do think, by the way, Echo of the Elements is the best. Well, certainly, I think this is the best build. And I think that these talents are each the best on their tier, and they all work incredibly well together. So Echo of the Elements at 1. Frostwolf Pack at 4. So this is a quest, very difficult quest actually, which is to hit 7 heroes with Feral Spirit with your W. Your progress completely resets if you miss, even once, or if you die as well. So this quest kind of sucks. It's a bit like the Master's Touch for Medivh, but unlike Medivh, who can, you know, scout really well, who has, you know, can give himself protected and who's got portals to escape and all that sort of stuff, plus is ranged. Thrall is immobile, squishy, you know, yeah, it's a bit of a pain to finish this quest. However, you know, when you do finish it, it's insanely strong. It halves the cooldown of your W, your roots, and also halves the mana cost. So again, it massively helps with your mana issues, and it gives you twice as many roots, which is actually a huge deal. Number 1, it lets you use the root a bit more, not flippantly, but you know, you can kind of just cast it more frequently because you're more reliably able to proc it. By the way, there 3 minutes 30 was when I actually finished my level 1 quest. I don't know what, like, how soon you should be finishing it. Around about the time you hit level 7 would be a pretty good time, certainly. And we've actually built up 4 stacks against Dahaka in lane, which is also fantastic. We're just trying to juke around and make it difficult for him to hit the tongue. He actually did miss the tongue, which is good. Unfortunately, our team did get invaded there on the siege camp and didn't notice. So they actually got that stolen away. Just about hit that route, actually. That was a bit clunky. Didn't quite hit. Once we finish our level 1 quest, by the way, you can start using your Qs a lot more aggressively for wave clear, for poke, for all that sort of stuff, which is nice. That's one of the things, you know, the old Thrall, pre-rework, right? You used to use your Q to just poke the enemy heroes in lane, whereas now you have to use it to finish Echo of the Elements quest. So that does actually change up your early game quite a bit, Level 7 then, we take follow through. So whenever we use an ability, our next basic attack will hit for 40% more damage. Thrall is one of the hardest hitting basic attacks in the game. It's really hard, so you get tons of value out of this. And you can see where we're going with this particular talent build, right? So we've got 2 charges of our Q now. Each one of those charges will proc follow through. Once we finish our W quest, we only need 1 more hero hit in this particular game, actually. We're having a great time. This is going really, really well. There you go, we actually finished it. This is like pretty much best case scenario for Thrall here. once we finish this W quest, we have our W's up twice as often to give us even more follow-through procs. So that's basically the theory here. So we've got as many ability buttons to press as possible to give us as many follow-through procs as possible. We've also got, you know, we're rooting twice as often to lock people down and hit them with those follow-through and powered basic attacks. And it should add up to actually a whole ton of damage. Once you finish that W quest again, that also opens you up to another bit of gameplay, which is using your W for PvE damage and wave clear. You probably noticed right at the start of the game I was using my W for wave clear. Can't do that when you're doing the quest because it will reset your progress. But once you finished it, you can start using that W more aggressively again, which is actually pretty damn useful. Right here, Dehaka goes a little bit too deep. Good bomb by D.Va will split the team up, actually leaving a Nubkeks fairly isolated. We're going to throw our W through. Oh, in case you didn't know, actually, so the rework for Thrall, right, your Feral Spirit, your W, it is a 1 second route. And every time you hit a hero, it will continue on and it actually increase the distance traveled by your Spirit Wolf there, your Feral Spirit, by 25%. So you can actually route multiple heroes with it. It's pretty difficult to do. It's pretty rare that it happens. It is worth knowing that it is an option though. Zul'jin gets taken out, but we've secured most of this temple. One of the things I want to point out, you'll see in this game, is like just the raw damage Thrall does is quite impressive, and his wave clear is actually probably a lot better than you think with this particular talent build. Between your 2 charges of Chain Lightning, which are very cheap in terms of mana, then your cheap and short cooldown Feral Spirits, and all your follow-through procs, you can actually tear through minion waves very quickly, also PvE objectives very quickly, all the while healing yourself up as well, which is really nice. They did buff the heal you get from your Frostwolf resilience in the last patch, which is great. It's not as good as it was before Thrall's rework, but it's, you know, it's pretty decent. Pretty decent overall. For example, right there, I actually made a little bit of a mistake. So obviously overextended. Then when running away, I actually juked a bit and didn't press my E early on enough. I think if I had, we would have dodged the Nova's thingy-majibby. Her, what's it called? Orbital Strike? Orbital Bombardment? I don't know. Anyway, her ultimate. We would have dodged it. Her heroic would have dodged it, but we messed it up a little bit. We did survive though, so that's the main thing. We're healed up pretty quickly and ready to fight some more. Level 10, grabbing the Sundering. I actually think both heroics are quite solid. I like both of them a lot. So it's really kind of up to you which one you want to get. So for example, you can see right there, we pretty much just wiped through that minion wave just like that. Kind of like a hot knife through wet butter. And as you can see from our mana, it really doesn't cost us that much at all to do all that sort of stuff. We're actually quite good with that. Now here you see I make a mistake. We're bursting down this Uther pretty hard. I think that there's a Li Ming coming. You can see I'm ready to sunder her and then to try follow up on the Uther, we actually get killed. I did not expect to be killed so quickly. But yeah, I mean, that's Thrall. Thrall is super squishy. I'm pretty sure, for example, Greymane has a lot more HP than Thrall. So you can see there's a few things. The Nexus forces, so there was 2 Siege Giants and stuff. They actually did 400 damage to us, which is like 25% of our life, which is kind of crazy. So it was a bit too risky. And then Uther plus the Li Ming. We didn't even get hit by all that much stuff, and just a miscalculation by me. I said, you know what? Hey, if Li Ming comes along and we just we hit her with our heroic, it should trigger a Frostwolf resilience, should heal us up, will knock her away, interrupt her stuff. Should be enough to kill Uther. It wasn't. It wasn't, and we get blown up very quickly. So that is something to watch out for with Thrall. You get killed super quick. You're very squishy. You don't have much health. You do give yourself some self-healing, but, you know, tanking people up is certainly not your strong point at all. It's certainly not your strong point. Really, Thrall's strong point is just the amount of damage that he can do. Plus, he's got 2 high-impact heroics that can, you know, swing the team fights pretty dramatically in a couple of different ways. That's basically what he does. You can see here against this guy, the Guardian here on the Sky Temple. Like, we're killing this thing pretty quick. Like, that thing is just gone. We still have plenty of mana. We've got basically full HP, and that's kind of Thrall right there. So I see Nova is here. Gonna try juke around a bit. Our actually level 13 talent saved us a lot of HP right there. This Spirit Shield, and this is what I grabbed here. This got buffed in the last patch as well. So it is a 45-second cooldown spell shield, basically. You get 50 spell armor when you get hit by an ability, and for the next 1.5 seconds after it procs. In this game, I left it on. I think in a lot of circumstances, you'd want to manually activate it. But in this case, seeing as they've got, you know, Nova, Uther, and Li Ming, I said, there could be a lot of bursts coming at me very quickly that I wouldn't expect. So I'm actually gonna, looks like the tornado procs it from the boss. That kind of sucks. But yeah, I think you want to manually activate it usually. But in this case, I said I could be just like stun locked and bursted and killed like really quick before I even have a chance to press the button, before I see it coming. So I'm going to leave it on. And the cool thing about this is whenever you activate Frostwolf Resilience, which is your heal, it will reduce the cooldown of Spirit Shield by 8 seconds, which is kind of cool. So I suppose in theory, if you're not team fighting, it's not going to be as good as Spell Shield. But if you are in a team fight, it will be better than Spell Shield. It should realistically work out to have a shorter cooldown. I suppose you can keep an eye on the cooldown and see whether that actually holds true or not over the course of this game. I've never actually looked, but it should. And also that will synergize well because we're casting our Ws twice as often, or casting our Qs twice as often. So we should actually get more procs of Frostwolf Resilience than we would get with other builds, thanks to our early game talents. Yeah, I'm actually looking at it now, and you can see the cooldown's actually ticking down pretty quickly here. So you're going to have Spell Shield up pretty often. I think it's really nice. Level 16 then. This is an interesting one. I think Tempest Fury is still really good. I went for Alpha Wolf though, which is the more team-oriented one. And what this does is, well, the main thing is that it increases your root of your spirit wolf by half a second. Given that we've got a root every 6 seconds now, it's actually pretty big uptime increase on how many heroes, or how often we're rooting heroes and locking them down. And then also a little bonus is for 3 seconds after you hit a hero with your W, your basic attacks to 3% of their max HP. Which is pretty good. I mean, if you lock someone down and you hit them with that, it will add up, you know, like if you hit them with your full E combo while they're rooted, plus your follow through procs, plus your ability procs, you're going to burst a whole lot of someone's HP. And they're going to be rooted for 1.5 seconds, so you should be able to get in there and do it. And yeah, the game actually ends right there. We did I think our team overall did a really nice job, and it was a great push to the finish. With that boss, we did a good job. You know, we had a great case of Nubkeks Cocoon. Really good. Throw out the cocoon, lock someone down, get a kill. That was really nicely done. Then I threw the Sundering in onto the Haka, locked him out, and then we blew up and killed him as well. And kind of those two staggered deaths, plus the boss that has snowballed it into actually a victory, which was actually really, really useful. And well played by the team. It was a good commitment to end the game. Very, very good, actually. I was pretty impressed by that. And how it all worked out. I wasn't sure if my Sundering would work out, but went for it, and it was a good follow-up from the team, and it actually did. But yeah, there you go, guys. That is Thrall. That was kind of, I feel in a lot of ways, that was a best-case scenario game, where we finished our quests pretty well. We actually held out okay in the lane. Like, it was a good game for Thrall, for sure. And you could see the usefulness of it, just the amount of damage you do, the amount of wave clear, your PvE damage, and that obviously translates into teamfights as well. You do a lot of damage, and your ults can be pretty high impact. But at the same time, you are extremely squishy, as we saw in this video as well. CC is not your friend. Well, when it's on the enemy team, it's your worst enemy, because you can just be locked down, blown up, and you're dead before you can blink. This build will help you a bit with that, thanks to the Spirit Shields. And I think it is the best one overall. So it's, I mean, I think there's some spot for Thrall. I'm not sure that he fits in the meta super well at the moment. But I wouldn't be surprised, you know, I'd even like to see something like 5% more max HP, or just small little tweaks like that, just to increase his base survivability, or just something, you know, because at the moment, he's just not as high impact as you'd want for a hero that has a lot of quests, that takes a lot of work in the early game to kind of hit that mid game and late game power spike, and he's not as impactful as other heroes that are similar to him would be, like Malthael, obviously, or, you know, even Ragnaros, who's also been nerfed consistently. Even Ragnaros kind of comes a lot online late game a bit more, but at least he's bringing Molten Core, which is kind of consistently useful throughout the game. Thrall doesn't really feel like he's anywhere that he shines right now, is what I would say. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did in the future. And I would kind of like to see a little bit of a buff to his survivability to let you kind of get some of that aggression out there and be able to do stuff yourself, because sometimes you can be playing pretty scared. Anyway, there are my thoughts on Thrall. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I'll catch you all next time for some more Heroes of the Storm. Bye bye.